Hi everyone, it's Marisa from BumblebeeApothecary.com, and today I'd like to do a video showing how we make our meals while we're on the GAPS diet away from home on vacation. This will be how we're cooking at the place we're staying, and then also what we do when we want lunch to go, like for a picnic lunch. First, let's talk about actually cooking when you're staying at places that are away from home that don't have all of the utensils and equipment and things that you're used to. So what we try to do is avoid all the plastic and Teflon cooking pans and utensils and try to find something that's stainless steel or glass. So we have this pan that we've been using for most things because it's stainless steel. And then for cooking utensils, a trick that I found that works is if all of the regular cooking utensils are plastic, try looking for some grilling utensils. Those should pretty much always be stainless steel, and then you can just use those on the stove top for cooking there. So that's what we've been doing for making food. Another trick that I discovered is if you need to boil water and there's no tea kettle, you can use the coffee pot on the stove top. Just be careful if there's any plastic parts close to the bottom that they don't get too hot and melt. So since the first day when we came and picked up some food for the first couple of days, we went shopping again and got a few more things. I was surprised that there were a lot of really good options for things like pasture-raised eggs and a decent selection of organic produce too. So we just got some meat and vegetables for some meals and enough to make food for leftovers, and then some stuff for breakfast. And so what we've been doing is cooking some different things that we can have for dinner and then also take with us. This morning we're making like beef fajita filling. Oh, and then of course we don't have any tortillas or anything. We'll just eat the beef and the onions and peppers. We have salsa and avocados and things we can have with it too. This is ready. So we're cooking the peppers and onions and then the beef, and we'll put something over the top of that glass bowl and bring it along in our insulated bag for our lunch, along with some paper plates and utensils. And that'll be like our picnic lunch. And then we'll do something like burgers or something when we come back here later on for dinner. Another thing that we like to do as a homemade treat when we're on a vacation like this, where there's kind of a desire for something tropical and fruity and cold, is to do a GAPS version of a pina colada type drink. So what I do is, I couldn't find any cans of coconut milk at the stores here that didn't have guar gum or thickeners or other ingredients I didn't want. So I made my own coconut milk with some shredded coconut, unsweetened. I put that into my blender along with some water. I did 3 cups of water and 2 cups of shredded coconut, blended that up till it was pretty blended, and then strained that, and then used the liquid portion, the coconut milk, for this drink. So I put the coconut milk back into the blender, then I added a whole bunch of coconut oil, blended that up a bit until it was nice and combined, and then added some frozen pineapple and blended that up until it was really smooth. And then we just pour that into glasses and enjoy. So for food to pack along this time, I tried to both kind of use up whatever we had left over in the refrigerator from our stay, and then also just bring some of the same things along that I knew worked really well as travel food. So I found some more natural hot dogs in a grocery store that were, all allowed ingredients. Froze those the night before, and we brought those along. I also brought some bags of frozen peas. The frozen peas work really nicely because they keep your food cold. They act as an ice pack. Since you cannot bring regular ice packs as a carry-on on an airplane, they're not allowed through security. But frozen peas are, and they work great for keeping things cold. So we had those, and then my kids love eating frozen peas, so they ended up eating them all too, and that worked really well. The other things that we brought along were some fresh vegetable sticks cut up. I had bell peppers, carrots, and celery. We had used those during the week on one of our lunch. We had used those vegetables during the week for one of our lunches, and then we had a bunch of them left over already in a bag, so those were easy to bring along. We also boiled up all the rest of the eggs that we had left over. We bought enough because we knew that we wanted boiled eggs on the way back too. So we had those, big bag of those that we could just peel as we needed. And then we had one package of ground beef. So we cooked those up as little hamburger patties and stuck them into a little container. It was a little container of some pico de gallo salsa that I had bought. So I washed it out and we put the patties in there, and then we were able to eat those on the way back as well. So to recap, on the way back, we had our frozen peas, vegetable sticks, boiled eggs, hot dogs, and hamburger patties. It's kind of tricky when you're traveling back because you don't really have such set meal times. We just kind of fit in food wherever we can. So once we were at our gate in the airport, through security, checked our things that we were going to check, all that kind of stuff, we had a little bit of time because our flight was actually late. So that was one of the times where we ate quite a bit of our food, and then we saved the rest and ate it on the flight. It was a pretty long flight, 4 hours from Florida to Colorado, so we had plenty of time to eat on the flight as well. Here are some things looking back over the trip that I would do differently next time. So number one, I would make sure I have a bit more food with us for the return trip. We had enough getting there. That worked out fine. It was a great amount of food, but I think that we needed a little bit more meat on the way back because I was pretty hungry by the time we got home. Not a big deal. I mean, I wasn't starving or anything, but I just feel like it would have been better to have just a little bit more food. Also, the kids did not end up using the toys and things that I brought for them as much as I expected, so I would bring less toys. It's just one more thing to haul around. So maybe just a couple books and maybe one toy each and call it good. So that's what I'm going to do next time. Another thing I'm going to do next time is make sure that I have smaller travel size containers for the different things that I bring. For example, the big jug of honey that I brought along totally was not necessary because we don't go through that much honey anyway, and definitely not in a week. So even though it costs more to buy a smaller little container of honey, I think it's worth it because you're going to just have that much less weight and bulk to haul around. So smaller honey container. Same thing for the salt. Do not need to bring that big bag of it. Just a little travel container. Again, I know it's costing more to buy a little container of it, but I can just save that as my travel container here on out. So smaller honey, smaller salt, and then I think that's it for the rest of the food that we actually eat. Oh, the container of sauerkraut that I brought along was also not necessary because it's so easy to find. I found that same exact sauerkraut in the store. So it wasn't accessible in our luggage while we were traveling, so, not necessary to bring it all that way and then be able to buy the same thing at our destination. I did bring it just because I was a little unsure since we were going to the Florida Keys, and I wasn't sure what all was going to be available in grocery stores as far as fermented food, but I was pleasantly surprised. There were some really good options. I was able to get kimchi, some purple sauerkraut that had beets in it, and some lacto-fermented pickles. So we were totally fine as far as that goes. So yeah, just packing lighter overall next time. Smaller sizes, less things, I think would be fine. I think overall I did do a pretty good job packing light because we had only one suitcase for bathroom items and clothes between all 5 of us. So I feel like that was good, but I could probably do even better. So I hope that you enjoyed this little series of traveling and eating out on the GAPS diet. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have more video ideas for me, make sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know. I always love getting video idea requests. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else you think would find it helpful. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.